Friends of Truth, Justice, and the American Way. I've been doing a little research in the Massapequa Water District. There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on there. The first thing is that it seems the Massapequa Water District, the way it was explained to me by the superintendent over there, Stan Carey, they claim they have some law that enables them to appoint their consultants every year without any bids or RFPs or any public notice. So basically every year, Sidney Baum and Son, that's Frank Antetomaso's group, they get the engineering contract. And these other consultants here, you might notice Joe Pinto has been the financial consultant for the Massapequa Water District for about, I don't know, maybe more than a decade, they said. And it's pretty interesting because this was Joe's written proposal for 217. You know, it's dated December 28th. And it explains what a great accountant Joe is and you know, what his salary should be, up to $58,000 a year. But this kind of like stupefies me because why is Joe Pinto the commissioner of parks if he's this great accountant? Why isn't he working in the comptroller's office in the town? I don't know. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. Joe resigned once he was appointed as the commissioner of parks. This is his resignation letter. And I'm obtaining all of Joe's work history going back to day one. So it lists, you know, according to the Massapequa Water District, Joe Pinto spent 4 to 5 hours a day in the office, 2 to 3 days a week or something. We'll look into that. Now, the really interesting thing that I found was, initially I got involved, or I got interested in the Massapequa Water District because of a notice or a story that they had produced, which explained that Assemblyman Joe Saladino brought forth some information, and then contractor, consultant, engineer Frank Antetomaso, Sidney Baum, they managed to then you know, get a change order and do some extra work, and that was to this area called they call it the Brooklyn Avenue Yard. Now that was in 2007. Then I discovered that Sidney Baum redid the Brooklyn Avenue Yard over again in 2013. It's kind of interesting because when I was reviewing this information initially, none of the 2013 construction information was offered to me at all. Now, what's really interesting here is when you start looking at the change orders, right, just really ridiculous stuff. The job wound up costing the water district $272,957,000. Right? Now, what really drew my attention to some of the stuff is Laser Industries did the work. Right? And ironically, they found an underground diesel contaminated fuel tank that increased the scope of the job by $16,000. And I have the manifest. Again, it's a non-hazardous waste manifest. They took this out in one truckload. As a matter of fact, the driver's records indicate that he was on site at the job at 8 and he left at 1. So he cut open the tank, he cleaned the tank, and he removed the tank from the hole. This cost $16,000. I was told that it was contaminated. Right, here it is, diesel contaminated fuel tank. That's why it cost $16,000. I got a feeling this is the same scam that these people pull over and over, like they pulled at Burns Park. There's no hazardous material. I don't even know if there was really a tank. Well, I have the additional foils in, and we'll see what's going on. But I'll tell you what. Apparently, the Massapequa Water District is just as corrupt as the town of Oyster Bay. They're all in cahoots, and they're wasting our taxpayer dollars. That's the bottom line. $272,000 to repave a field or a parking lot where the water tank is. I'm going to go through this whole construction of this Brooklyn Avenue area, as they call it. I'll explain the whole thing in a better video and more documents. As I mentioned, I have more foils in. When I understand everything, I'll put it all out there. It doesn't look too good right now. All right, thanks for following.